Christine here from Tau Canine. I'm here with Brody. We're going to walk you through the basics of stay. Stay is very fundamental to dog training, and without your dog holding a consistent stay, there's the chance they won't be able to do some of the higher level commands that you ask them to do. We really want to see a consistent stay to be able to progress on to other things. So we're going to, before we can expect our dog to hold a stay, we need to teach our dog the expectation. The expectation is don't move. And the way we're going to do that is set our dog up for success. So I've got a bunch of treats, and this is where keeping your treats very small and able to be quickly chewed and swallowed is going to come in handy. Because our first set of stays are going to last less than a second. And if you feed your dog a chunk of jerky, they're going to sit there and need a few seconds to chew, and you've missed your opportunity to reinforce that stay. So I'm going to have 5 or 6 treats in one hand, and I'm going to hold the leash in the other hand. When you are first doing stay with your dog, it's a good idea to have them on the leash. Once you feel like they understand the expectation and you're just working on lengthening your stays or adding distance to your stays, you can do it without your dog being on a leash. But at the beginning, it's just helpful to be able to remind them, in case they get up and move, that the expectation is that they stay close to you and they don't move. Okay, so one of the keys to successful dog training is repetition. We as humans can sometimes find repetition to be boring, but for your dog, it is not boring, especially when they're getting a really yummy treat from you. It's the repetition that helps secure in your dog's brain that yes, that is what I want you to do. And when you hear me say this word or you see this hand signal, you're going to do that thing that you just got down, that you just got rewarded for. So repetition, and that is what we are going to do. The stays we're going to work on today will be in sets of 5, okay? And then the other thing that you need to keep in mind is quick reward. So we're going to reward our dogs super fast for doing the right thing while they're actively doing that thing, which is the stay. They're going to make the connection more quickly that, okay, that's what you want me to do. I get it. I'm going to keep doing that because I want that yummy treat. So sets of 5, which means you have to have at least 5 treats in your hand, cut nice and small. I'm going to hold the leash in that same hand because I want my other hand totally free to do the hand signal stay. And we are going to do that very traditional stay that everybody knows. And what I like to say is think about projecting leadership to your dog when you do this. This shows leadership. There's some actual tension in my hand. I like to have my fingers together. It just makes a more clear signal to your dog, as opposed to what I sometimes see from people, which is just kind of this, and this doesn't signal with a lot of authority to your dog what you want, especially once you start doing this from a long distance from your dog. This from 20 feet isn't speaking with a whole lot of authority or clarity, whereas this, it's very clear. Okay, so this is what our first set of stay is going to look like. You're going to put your dog in a sit in front of you, facing you. So Brody, sit. Let me get him a little bit closer. Good. You are standing really close to your dog, so close their head is right here, so that you can reward just by bending down. Because this whole first set of stay, you're not moving your feet. You're not doing what we think of stay, which is I give my dog the stay command and then I leave my dog. We're not doing that. That you do once you have already established with your dog what the expectation is. And so this is what we're doing. We're communicating to our dog what I want you to do. Okay, so close enough. I'm not moving my feet this whole set of stay. I'm gonna walk through it slowly with you, and then we'll do it at a normal pace. My leash and my treats are in one hand. My other hand is free to signal. I don't want to preemptively put a treat in that hand, because if I signal stay with a treat in my hand, there's a good chance your dog is just gonna go for that treat. So you don't want anything in that hand. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to signal to your dog stay, and you can say stay. And then as fast as you can, you're grabbing a treat and you're giving it to your dog. You're not standing and waiting to see if your dog is holding the stay. We're not at that point yet. We are establishing with our dog the expectation. Hey, Brody, get a little closer. Good. Okay, so again, it's stay, and as fast as you can, grab a treat and give it to him. And then right away, you're gonna do another stay and give him the treat. If you get really good at this, you don't have to grab the treat with your hand. You can kind of feed him with the other hand. It takes a little practice so you're not dropping the treats. Stay, grab that treat, deliver it. Stay, grab that treat, deliver it. How many times am I doing this? 5 times. Hey, sit, trainer error. Come close. Good. Okay, so let me show you what the whole thing looks like at the regular pace. The key to this is that you're rewarding your dog before they even have a chance to get up and move. That's helping to establish in their brain that the expectation of what you want is that they don't move. So, set a 5, delivering that treat as fast as I can. And notice I'm not moving my feet. The only thing that's moving, I might be bending at my waist and moving my hand. Stay. 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 Good boy. And I think that was 5. Sometimes I lose track. So that's what it looks like. Rewarding as fast as you can before they have a chance to get up and move. Now, of course, you're gonna look at this and say, well, that's fine, but I don't want my dog to stay for less than a second. I want him to hold a stay for like half an hour if we go out somewhere. Yes, and you will build up to that, but it's going to be done slowly and by adding different criteria of difficulty. One of the things we can see with stay with dogs is that the people think, okay, once my dog can do this, then he's ready for a 10-second stay. And in some cases, it might work, but in most cases, that is too big of a jump for your dog to understand that the expectation is still that you don't move. So, well, sit. So by the way, you can do all of this with your dog in a down, but you have to be the one to tell your dog down. I can tell here that my dog wants to go into a down. So I could do the next set of stays from a down. I don't think you would see him though, so I'm gonna keep him in that sit. Okay, so once you do this a few times, remember sets of 5. Oh, and what do you do if your dog breaks that stay? That's where you're going to do this neutral sound and put him back in the sit and start over with number 1. You don't tug real hard, you don't yell at him. It's just this and you're gonna start using that sound throughout all of your training, and your dog will start to understand, I didn't do what she wanted. How can I change that? What should I do? Brody, come on, I know you're tired. Hey, sit. Good boy. All right. So, suppose now you feel like your dog really has that stay. You're gonna add difficulty to it. And there are 3 ways to add difficulty. One is adding a little bit of distance, one is adding a little bit of duration, and the other is adding some movement on your part, because for you to all of a sudden move, for them can change the whole game. But you're only gonna add one of those things at a time. So if my dog just held that stay really well, I wouldn't say, okay, now I'm gonna add a second, and I'm gonna add a step, and I'm gonna move too much. You add one thing at a time. So what I say is, if your dog just held a really good stay with that very initial stay that we did, I would say take 1 baby step back. Brody, here we go. You ready? Here we go, ready to stay. So you would start very close to your dog again, give the stay, take a little step back, not a huge step back. And at that point, it's on. You're doing exactly what you were just doing. You're not You are in a way adding a little more time because you're at a little more of a distance to get that treat to him, but you're not standing there waiting to see if he's holding the stay. All right, so this is what it would look like. Stay, 1 little step back, and then I'm simply rocking forward, stay, rocking back, rocking forward, stay, rocking back, rocking forward. That's 3. My bad. That's 4, stay. 5, and that actually, good stay was a good stay for him to ignore that treat. He sometimes struggles with that. Sit. And you're gonna do that a few times. Remember, sets of 5. And then if your dog is really good at that, the next thing you might add is a little bit of time. So if I've already established that step back, I can build on that. Ready? Sit. Let's get you closer. Come friend. Come friend. Good. So I would still initially go back to him, stay, take a step back, and hold on because I don't have my treats ready. And getting treats delivered in a timely fashion is one of the keys to successful dog training. Leave it. Sit. Stay. 1 step back, and I would count. 1. Stay. Push back. 1. You can see there's a little more time here where I'm hanging out back here. That's 3. Stay. Leave it. Leave it. So now I would go back to 1, and I would do that again. So then, and if you're in the 6-week class with me, I give you a whole track to follow of when to add a second, when to add a step back, when to add some movement, doing it several times in a row, really establishing that the expectation is that you don't move. I just want to show you, if I were at a point where I would take 2 steps back and I would add movement on my part, this is what it could look like. Again, let me get some treats. Good boy. Okay, I would do the stay. And notice I hold my hand up as a visual reminder to him of what I want. Because each time you are indicating to your dog stay, we want you to say the word stay 1 time. It's not stay, 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 stay. The fewer words you use with your dog, the more clear your communication is to your dog. Use your hand as that visual reminder. So stay, and I might take 2 steps back at this point, pretend I took 2. Movement, that initial movement is just me walking, rocking side to side, and rewarding the stay. Stay, push back. How many times would I do this? 5 times. Good, stay, stay, push back. So I would do that 5 times. Good boy. Until eventually you're working up to maybe 5 steps, Birdie down, I'm gonna let him relax for a second. 5 steps back and holding a 4-second stay. So some things to watch out for is don't talk to your dog other than stay, except maybe to say good stay to your dog when you're rewarding them. If you choose to say good stay, it would be stay, good stay, stay. Grab your treat, good stay, stay. And notice my voice. I'm not going, good stay, and bringing that excitement level up where it's more likely that your dog is going to break the stay if they feel excitement from you. Also, my movement toward him and back are calm, kind of on the slow side, because I sometimes see people kind of shuffle up to their dog, and again, your body showing that kind of energy could have your dog break that stay. So you are bringing calmness, calm energy to this whole process. It's what's going to help your dog maintain that stay. One other thing, a few other things before we go. So what do you do if maybe you think my dog is ready for a 4-second stay from 3 steps back, and I go to do that and he breaks the stay, and I put him in a sit and I start with number 1. You want to do it? Stay. So 4 steps back, I'm holding that, he breaks it again. I put him back in the sit and I do the stay again. And then the 3rd time he breaks that stay. So He could be breaking that stay because from your dog's perspective, he's looking at you, and maybe that extra second that you've just added is just enough time that he is unsure what you want him to do. And so he's breaking the stay because he's like, I don't know how long I'm supposed to sit here. What do you want me to do? So what do you do in that case? Bring it back a few steps. If you know, well, he has that 2-second stay down like that, go back to the 2-second stay. Do it 5 times, reward, and then move on to the 3-second stay. Do it 5 times and reward, then try the 4-second stay, because that might help in his brain, that realization develop of, oh, okay, she wants me to do the same thing. I just sit here. Now, the thing that can sometimes get lost with training stay is that you need to let your dog know when they're allowed to move again. When you really work at stay and you're doing like 3 of those sets of 5 and they're getting really good at not moving, if you were to just turn and just tug on the leash and start walking away, your dog is like, wait, I don't know what am I supposed to do? I just got rewarded for not moving. You didn't tell me to change anything. Is this a test? You know, they're not sure. So the 2 ways that you can communicate to your dog that they're allowed to move, the one is to give them another command, like heel or let's go. And then the other one is to simply communicate to them that the stay is over, you're allowed to break the stay and move. And I just said the word you're going to use. The word that a lot of us use is break. Some people like to use free. It's up to you, whatever you want to use with your dog. But what you do is communicate to them, the stay is over, you're allowed to move. And so this is what it would look like. Hey, come front. Let's get you a little bit closer. Good. Okay, so let's suppose my dog is on his 5th stay. Stay, good, stay. And now I'm not gonna do any more stays with him. I'm not gonna do another round of 5. I'm gonna let him know he's allowed to move. I get out another treat, put it in front of the nose, wave it around and get playful, step back as I say, break, and I go ahead and give him that treat once he moves. And at the beginning, you might find with your dog, they're still not moving because they know I get a treat for not moving, and that's what you just drilled into me. They might need a gentle tug on that leash so that they understand they are allowed to move. Let's scoot back, Brody, and let's show again. Sit. Realize y'all couldn't see him very well. So pretend, come front, that we just did that 5th stay. Boom. And now I'm gonna do break. Treat in front of that nose, wave it around, break, and step back, and then reward the break. Otherwise, if you don't communicate to your dog when the stay is done, and you just start walking away from him and tugging and yanking on the leash, they're gonna stop holding the stay because they don't know when it's over. And they're gonna start assuming, well, it must be over. I don't know, I'm gonna move. Okay? So break is very important. At the same time that you're working on your stays, you're gonna throw in those breaks. What do you think, Brody? Did we cover it all? I think so. All right. Okay, so those are the basics of stay. That's the very fundamental way you communicate to your dog the expectation that you don't move. There are lots of ways for you to up the challenge of stay so that you do build up to those 5-10 minute stays where you're leaving the room and your dog knows not to leave. And you'll get there. But this is how you're going to really have your dog absorb in the brain that the expectation is they don't move. All right, give it a try. Good.